Hello, everyone. Welcome to the inaugural episode of Sleepcast, a brand spanking new once weekly podcast coming to you every week about anything and everything sleep related. I am your host, Trevor Franklin, coming to you to talk to you about sleep. So, we're just gonna cut to the chase, stop talking about the bullshit, and go right into it. Today's episode is going to be about sleep deprivation. Now, sleep deprivation is a very serious issue, contrary to what a lot of people would believe. But in order to, I guess, sort of understand it fully, one has to know what sleep deprivation actually is. And it can be best defined as getting less than the recommended amount of sleep over a prolonged period of time. Now, the recommended amount of sleep, experts recommend that the average adult gets about 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night on average. For adolescents, it's between, I believe, 8 and 10. It's very doable, not too hard, and yet all too often, the average American does not get that much sleep. The average American actually gets roughly 6 hours of sleep a night, which, to the casual observer, oh, 6 hours, that's quite a bit of sleep. That's not bad. That's, enough to function. I mean, that's where you'd be wrong, really. Sleep deprivation has a lot of issues that come with it. And they're not really apparent to the sufferer per se. So I guess to define these things, I can't think of the word right now. The effects, that's the word I'm taking for. The effects of sleep deprivation, we have basically two categories. We've got short-term effects and long-term effects. The short-term effects include things like irritability, mood swings, loss of focus, forgetfulness, reduced memory retention, things of that nature. Reduced reaction time. It's a very I mean, they don't seem like big things on the surface, but when you stop and think about them a little bit and you apply them to everyday life, it really adds up quite a bit. It's a kind of a mess, really. For example, just looking at the loss of focus, we're gonna look at college students here. I know it's finals week out there. At least it's finals week where I attend school. And it's very stressful. People aren't getting a lot of sleep, but that loss of focus could mean the difference between a C plus and an A plus on those finals. If you can't focus on your final, you're not going to be able to do very well on it. But even just in an academic setting in general, if you can't focus, you're not going to be able to focus on the material being taught. And that just creates a problem where you're not getting as much as you should be, especially for all you college students. You're just wasting money at that point. You're going to class, you're not getting anything out of it. But the memory retention also comes into this. If you're, sleep deprived, you're gonna sit there, you're gonna be out of focus. You're gonna be like, man, I wish I could just go home and sleep right now. I'm so tired. You're not gonna be thinking about, the big history lecture going on or that big test in front of you. You're just gonna think, man, I really wish I could be asleep right now. And that's a big thing. It's really distracting and it's really bad in the long run for academics. The memory retention, obviously, we already touched on that, but going to the reduced reaction time, that could have some very serious consequences, especially when we get to the subject of driving. Um, it's no big secret that being out of focus and tired and out of it when you're driving is not a very good idea. It's a very dangerous situation. That reduced reaction time, for example, could mean the difference between an accident, or if you didn't have all that sleep deprivation, you actually got the amount of sleep you're supposed to get, you could, swerve out of the way. You could correct your course. You could see that guy crossing the street, or if you are the guy crossing the street, you could see that guy coming, and you would have the ability to react in time to avert a major accident. But going further, there's a lot of serious long-term consequences that come out of it. A lot of debilitating illnesses that come out of it. We're talking things like hypertension, diabetes, heart disease, things of that nature. Probably, I think cancer was on the list there as well. A lot of different types of cancers. Basically, it's bad news for that. Sleep deprivation also lowers the ability of the immune system to fight infection, which means you'll get sick more often, and the sickness will be a lot worse than usual. And that's not very good. No one likes to be sick. Then you'll be sick and tired as a double whammy. That's real nasty. But going on to it, there's more than just those physical ailments. There's also a lot of mental ailments that can be associated with sleep deprivation. We've got things like bipolar disorder, anxiety disorders, depression. All three are linked to sleep deprivation in some way. Um, for example, a lot of sufferers of those three mental illnesses also suffer from sleep deprivation, and vice versa. A lot of people who suffer from sleep deprivation will get diagnosed with one of those three, or usually get diagnosed with one of those three. I wouldn't say will get diagnosed. As with all things medical, there's always outliers, but it's a very strong correlation between the two, and it's very interesting, I guess, to note, but it's also a very bad thing. I mean, again, it's no real secret that depression isn't really fun. I personally haven't had it, but it's not good. I've known people that have had it. It's bad. But sleep deprivation does a lot of stuff. I guess to sum it all up, it's bad. Sleep deprivation is bad. It's very important that we stop it. I guess it's a very preventable thing. I mean, in most people, it's just a case of getting an extra hour of sleep at night, which I mean, it's easier said than done in some cases, but for most people, it's not going to be that big of a deal. You just get off Facebook for an hour, or you stop watching TV, or you get off the Xbox, something like that. And there's more sleep tips for that if you have trouble sleeping. Obviously, if you've got like insomnia or something, it's going to be a big issue there, but it's very preventable. It's very easy to prevent. Again, it's just go to sleep a little earlier or get more sleep, sleep a little later if you can, things of that nature. But we've actually got a campaign going around. It's the Truth About Sleep. We have a homepage. It's a live binder. It is Truth About Sleep. It's on live binders. Don't have the actual address in front of me at this time. We're also on social media. I know it's linked up there. You can find us on Twitter at SleepEDU. I believe the actual handle for that is Truth About Sleep. And you can also find us on Tumblr. Our Tumblr is thetruthaboutsleepdeprivation.tumblr.com. You can find some cool information there. We got some stuff there. I guess some more facts, a bit of the stuff you heard here, and a bit more. I'm constantly linking some cool articles on the Twitter there, so keep an eye out on that. Lots of cool stuff about sleep. And of course, you can always find out more information and find out more about us on the Live Binder. So really, that's about all we've got for you tonight. I want to thank you all for listening. You have a wonderful whatever it is for you, and I will see you on the next episode.